Any last words?
Alright, so as most of you are probably aware, I've gotten, a little bit lax with my upload schedule recently. I've been on a bit of a break for around about 2 years, give or take. But hey, never let it be said that I spent that time sat twiddling my thumbs doing nothing. I did make a couple of attempts at productivity. Case in point, probably the closest I ever got to actually getting something out was around Halloween 2021, when I 100%ed a pretty unique little indie game by Tennessee game developer Casey Donnellan called Kill It With Fire. I played through the game on Steam, running my standard protocol of earning every achievement and eventually collecting the coveted Steam ribbon. From there, I even got so far as fully scripting out a video, recording all of my lines, and beginning the editing process before I fell off as usual and let it sit for another year. By the time I decided to pick the project back up fairly recently, my standards for everything from script composition to even footage quality had shifted quite a bit. So in the interest of producing the most up-to-date and well-rounded product possible, I decided my best bet would probably be to just start over with an all-new playthrough, and booted up the game on Xbox, where I brought another save file to 100%. Today, we're going to be taking a look at both my playthroughs, so I can give you my official take on Kill It With Fire. Okay, so for starters, this really isn't a particularly story-focused game. In fact, it's only if you opted to read the game's Steam description that you'll go in knowing you play as the unnamed co-founder of the titular Kill It With Fire pest control company, on a mission to absolutely eradicate all things arachnid from a small town by any and all means necessary. Throughout the game, you'll travel from level to level, performing extermination jobs for various individuals and organizations, completing odd chores along the way, and unlocking an assortment of upgrades to both your character and your arsenal. The structure of a Kill It With Fire level is extremely straightforward and easy to understand. In each stage, you'll be tasked with hunting down and killing as many spiders as you can manage. A small HUD in the upper left of the screen keeps track of your kill count, and once you meet a certain threshold for spiders exterminated, the next area of the stage will unlock. Rinse and repeat until you've cleared every area, at which point the exit will open up and you'll be free to progress to the next level. Obviously though, the little creeps aren't exactly thrilled at the prospect of their inevitable obliteration, so you'll have to do some searching if you want to be able to find them, usually by picking up basically anything to inspect it for unwanted life, then subsequently shattering it into a million pieces on the ground. Spiders can pretty much hide anywhere, in drawers, behind items, behind picture frames, under desks, absolutely nowhere is safe. Once you agitate a spider, they'll enter a sort of escape mode and start scurrying around erratically on the floor for a period of time, after which, if they're still alive, they'll disappear to a new hiding spot. Searching for spiders in Kill It With Fire is, strangely, an extremely immersive experience. I would actually strongly recommend playing with headphones whenever possible, because this game really excels more than most others in the sound design department, mostly thanks to its incredible ambiance. The subtle tune that plays quietly in the background of each area really evokes and amplifies the feeling of isolation that comes from finding yourself completely alone in the game's many day-to-day environments that you would normally expect to have at least some people. The vibe is mostly peaceful, with the occasional scratching or scurrying of an arachnid in the background adding in a small creepiness factor. As soon as you actually encounter a spider though, the audio does a complete 180. The gentle melody is replaced with a high-pitched, frantic track that pulls you to complete attention and sends a shiver up your spine at the same time. It borders on distressing, and this cacophony doesn't end until the spider is either dead or hidden, making you extremely motivated to take care of them as quickly and efficiently as possible, or maybe even take them out before they spot you to avoid the whole thing altogether. It's handled really well, and I'm pretty sure the immersion is a big part of what kept me hooked throughout my playthrough. This is not a horror game though, despite what the previous section might have led you to believe. While the ambiance might really draw you in, this is a pretty goofy game first and foremost. The central conceit of Kill It With Fire is absolutely obliterating spiders in some of the most cartoonishly overkill and violent ways possible. You'll start out swinging at the things with your clipboard, but by the end of the first level, you'll have already been given a bottle of hairspray and a lighter, and it only gets more outlandish from there. You will be given straight up guns. You will be given high-grade explosives. You will be given the ability to call in a literal tactical drone strike. You'll have everything from weed whackers to ninja shurikens, and you will be expected to use them in residential and public spaces to kill tiny, mostly harmless spiders. I think the best part is, they play the absurdity mostly straight. They never provide any actual justification for the level of violence, and importantly, the amount of collateral damage is mostly realistic. You absolutely demolish everything in your path. Almost every object in any given level can and will be affected by the total carnage wrought by your presence. So there's a pretty good chance that not a single item will make it out without being either shattered, charred, or completely burned away. Okay, so in my original draft of the script, the only real criticism I had to level with the weapon lineup was that quite a few of the unlockable items are just too impractical to actually be used in most situations. Sure, shooting a tiny spider at point blank range with a shotgun is pretty funny, but believe it or not, it's a lot more difficult than just smacking them with a frying pan, especially when they're scurrying quickly around the room on a floor covered in other small items and dead spiders, and when missing a shot makes them move even faster than they already were. Doing my second playthrough though, I realized that when playing on a controller, something I would normally never do in a first-person shooter, I'm almost 100% sure that the hitboxes are made like slightly more forgiving, which makes a shocking amount of difference when it comes to what weapons are actually viable to use. I think it would be really cool if we could see the keyboard and mouse experience brought slightly more in line in this regard, because I feel like it genuinely makes for a better gameplay loop. As you progress, you'll also encounter several different variations of spiders. Along the way, expect to see intimidating queen spiders that spawn several hatchlings when killed in a genuinely terrifying sequence, jumping spiders that are much harder to track, radioactive necromancers, and everything in between. Most of the differences here are honestly pretty superficial. Like, you kill them all the same way, but they pull their weight when it comes to keeping the game interesting. This isn't a super long game, it's fairly easy to just plow through each level if that's what you want to do, but if you're really looking to get your money's worth, you're going to want to spend some time completing the optional tasks in each stage. These can be found on your clipboard, and are pretty much the main obstacle standing between you and 100% completion. Most of these tasks are pretty straightforward, and many of them are more or less unrelated to arachnids. In one level, you might find yourself trying to organize a pegboard full of tools, while in the next, you might just be mowing the yard. There are 5 to 6 of these objectives per level, and in most cases, finishing them up will take considerably longer than simply unlocking the exit. None of the challenges are all that difficult, but they will definitely take a bit of time, giving a much needed reprieve from the action and allowing you to simply enjoy some low stakes puzzles with the aforementioned incredible ambiance. Completing your checklist for a given stage will unlock that level's Arachno Gauntlet, a short timed challenge that tasks you with killing a certain number of spiders in a certain way. In my opinion, these serve as a pretty good way to give you an excuse to use certain weapons you might not otherwise really make use of, and most of them aren't all too difficult either, although there were a couple that really gave me a run for my money. You'll need to complete every Arachno Gauntlet, and by extension every clipboard task, if you want to unlock the true quote-unquote ending of the game, which I'm not going to spoil here because honestly it's a bit of an interesting twist. Going for 100% completion, you'll also want to keep a lookout for a couple of tracker upgrades and several batteries hidden in each level. Picking these up will allow you to upgrade your character, your weapons, and your spider tracker in a ton of unique and interesting ways. Pro tip, if you ever get stuck trying to find one of these, and this is particularly pertinent with batteries, I personally recommend just exiting the stage and re-entering to reset the level back to its starting point, as it can be a real pain to try to find these things amongst all of the wreckage. The main story is good for a lot of fun, but it also doesn't overstay its welcome, so fortunately, if you're a completionist like me, or just don't feel entirely done yet, there's still quite a bit more to do. For starters, throughout the game you unlock a pretty wide variety of optional level modifiers that you can revisit stages with. Some of these you'll need for an achievement, like completing a level in Tiny Mode, while others are just for fun, like Australia Mode, which makes all of the spiders huge. Perhaps more interesting though are the holiday modifiers made to celebrate both Halloween and Christmas, which basically completely change how you interact with stages. Christmas levels are a fairly amusing, fairly brief fetch quest collecting ornaments around each stage to decorate a tree. Halloween levels, on the other hand, are basically entirely new experiences. The lights are turned off and you're given a brand new set of clipboard tasks to complete centered around the new spooky environments. If you enjoyed the base game, these are actually a really good time, and they extend playtime in a very welcome way. Finally, before you can claim that coveted 100%, you'll need to clean up the last few miscellaneous objectives and achievements. Overall, I'm very happy with the achievement list. Aside from one asterisk I'll get to in a moment, I think it's really solid. In addition to your fairly basic achievements for completing the game and collecting everything, there are a fair amount of silly one-off challenges that aren't too difficult but can be pretty satisfying to figure out or execute correctly, like trying to 360 no-scope a spider with an assault rifle. Unfortunately though, how many of these achievements are actually available to you seems to depend on what platform you play on. From what I've been able to figure out, shortly before my first playthrough in 2021, Kill It With Fire got a fairly large content update which added a few new weapons, an entire new stage, and 3 new achievements. For Steam users, this was a completely free non-DLC update, so it barely even registered with me until I started my playthrough on Xbox and realized that over there, the exact same content was only available as paid DLC. While this sucks for anyone who wants to play on console, I understand that publishing on consoles is generally more expensive, so it makes sense for a small independent developer to charge more. It's not that uncommon. What that doesn't explain though is why neither version of this paid DLC includes the 3 additional achievements that are available in the free Steam update. Digging deeper, what's even weirder is that from what I can tell, the PlayStation port is even missing some of the base game achievements, which makes 0 sense. To be clear, none of these achievements are particularly significant, but there's no reason they should be missing here, and the fact that they are kind of establishes the Steam version pretty firmly as the definitive release when it really doesn't have to be. If that kind of thing doesn't bother you though, and you're willing to pay a bit more to get everything, the console ports are very good. Additionally, if you don't care about achievements at all, you can pick up the game on Nintendo Switch. And apparently there's even a mobile version. For all you mobile gamers out there. Yeah, okay, sure, why not? I do seriously recommend checking out this game though. It's really well put together and a lot of fun to complete or just goof around in if that's what you're into. It's definitely a game I'm proud to be able to include on my list of 100% completed titles. Alright, I think that about covers it. Hopefully I can rest easy tonight, knowing I don't have to worry about any unwanted arachnids scurrying around the place. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I hope to be able to bring you a lot more like it in the near future, so if you did enjoy it, I would really appreciate it if you could drop a like, get subscribed, ring the bell, and even leave a comment down below with any feedback you might have, or just letting me know what you think. I would love to hear from you. And hey, if even that's not enough for you, you can always get more of me by following any of my social media, which as always will be linked down below, along with any of the music that I used in this video. I think that's pretty much it. As always, thanks for watching. I guess I won't be needing this anymore.